Well, 2026 came around a little bit bloody fast, didn't it? I don't know where the hell that's come from, but like many of you small business owners out there, I'm starting off this new year with some new goals, and I've gone and done what some of you might have done too, and I've set myself a whopping great big one for me to hit in the next 12 months. Now, for the last 4 years running my small service business, I've coasted along, so to speak. So this year I'm aiming for something a lot bigger, and I want to hit 100 grand turnover for the very first time since I started. But here's the problem. I've set this big ass goal. That annoying little voice in the back of my head is already starting to kick off, and it's kicking off in style. And I'm sure you know the one. It's the voice of self-doubt. For me, it's the one that's saying, Dave, you've flopped on big goals before, mate. Who do you think you are this time, eh? So I need to plan to shut that little bugger up once and for all, because this year the stakes feel much higher than they have ever before. And I want bigger things for me and for the business than I've ever hit in the past. And basically, I don't want another year settling for mediocre like what the last 4 years have been. If you're new to the channel, hey up, I'm Dave. I run a small web design business right from this little home office. I'm going to be sharing the ups, downs, the lefts, the rights, and everything in between of running a solo service business. So if you haven't done so already, do me a favour and subscribe to the channel and follow along. If you're a small business owner heading into 2026 with goals that are scaring the crap out of you too, then this one is for you. So let's get right into it. The first part of my plan, it sounds a little bit backwards. Over the next 12 months, I'm not going to be focusing at all on that 100k goal, which I know on the face of it sounds completely mental, but hear me out. The 100k is the destination I'm aiming for, but sitting there and focusing on the destination is a bit like me trying to drive to Scotland by just staring at a map of Scotland. Doing that is never going to get me there, and in fact, it'd just make that destination feel impossibly far away. To get me from Grimsby, where I am now, all the way up to Scotland, I'd need to take a certain number of steps to get me there, and the same is true to go from where I am in my business now to this ultimate revenue goal that I'm aiming for. So instead, I'm going to be focusing on the daily steps that I need to be taking to get me a step closer every single day to that end result. I need sales, and to get sales, I need leads, and I need plenty of them too. So my daily focus is going to be on finding leads, getting them onto a call, and ultimately converting them into paying clients. And to do this, I'm going to be concentrating on connecting with and talking to the right type of person, and I'm going to mainly be focusing my attention on LinkedIn, connecting with 40 people a day that fit my ideal client persona. I'll be reaching out to my new connections in the DMs 25 times or more a day to start genuine conversations, and ultimately aiming to get my offer in front of as many of these people as possible, trying to get at least 4 sales calls booked every single week. Now, these steps are all things I can keep track of each day, and it's this that will keep that annoying little voice at bay, because ultimately the voice of doubt feeds off inactivity. So making sure I'm hitting those targets daily is what I think is going to keep it quiet. Instead of just focusing on the end goal of the 100k, I'll be taking the right steps every single day to actually get me there. I'll not be asking myself, am I 100k richer yet? Instead, I'll be asking, did I take the right action today to get me to that goal? By tracking the action, not the outcome, I get a small win every single day, which helps build the momentum and kicks the self-doubt straight into touch. But this is only the first part of the plan, and doing it all on my own could be tricky, which is why in the next part of the video I'm going to talk about exactly how I'm aiming to overcome that specific problem. One of the hardest parts about running a business solo, I'm sure you'll agree, is keeping yourself on the right path every single day. When client work comes in or life takes over, and so many times in the past, I've let the important tasks fall by the wayside when that's happened. And a day of missed action turns into 2, which turns into a week, and so on and so on. And before I know it, it's months of that have gone past without any forward movement towards my end goal. So staying accountable to yourself is bloody hard work, and it's all too easy to allow that little voice to say, go on Dave, skip today, it's just one day, no one will even know. And that's when the goal is officially dead in the water. But for me, that's not happening this year. So another web designer that I know from an online community I'm part of has also got some big plans for this year. So we're teaming up to keep each other on the straight and narrow. And even though he lives at the other side of the world in Australia, we'll be having a weekly video call every single Thursday where we'll be holding up the mirror to each other and kicking some ass if either of us aren't sticking to those daily tasks that we should be sticking to. This weekly meeting is time blocked in, and unless the world is burning around us, it's completely non-negotiable. There's no excuses. We turn up every week, talk about our goals, what our targets are for the week, and if not, we've hit those targets. A bit like a Slimming World meet-up virtually, I reckon this one is going to be the thing that's going to give me the accountability I need to make sure I'm showing up every single week and doing what needs to be done. I don't fancy being the one turning up and not having hit my targets and looking like a bit of a tit, so I'll have the idea in my mind when the voice starts nagging at me to do something other than what I need to do. To hit the 100k, I need to be a better version of myself than I have been over the last 4 years. I need to become a 100k type of business owner, which leads us on to the third part of my master plan. Now, one thing I've held on to all the time that I've been running my own business is something I heard on another YouTube video years ago, which is this: your business can't ever outgrow you as a person. For me, I am my business, so for me to succeed, for my business to succeed, it needs to be me being the type of person who can achieve those lofty goals that I've set. Basically, the success of my business lies solely on my ability to get it to where it needs to be. So in 2026, I need to really up my game as a business owner. No more messing around now, Dave. You don't achieve massive goals by just changing your actions. You do it by changing who you are and changing your identity. So someone trying to get fit, for instance, might say, I'm trying to run more, whereas a person who is fit would say, I am a runner. And the action simply follows that identity. So the final part of the master plan is becoming the person who earns 100k a year. Right now, that doubt-filled voice is just there saying, you're just Dave, a small business owner who sometimes flakes on his goals. So right now, today, I have to fire that version of me and walk into my new identity, which is me being the person who shows up consistently every single day and does the hard bloody work, regardless of how I'm feeling. I'm going to be asking myself, what would a business owner who turns over 100 grand a year be like? Well, they'd be willing to say no to anything that wasn't helping them achieve the goals. They'd be putting in the reps every single day, regardless of how they felt, what the voice in the head was telling them, or if the world was burning down around them. Someone hitting those revenue goals would be taking the steps without fail or any sort of excuses. So focusing on action rather than the end goal, having an accountability partner kicking my ass every week is what's going to help me walk that walk, I reckon. And I'll tell you something, even though the niggling voice of self-doubt is shouting all sorts of crap at me right now, I'm super excited and confident that sticking to this plan over the course of 2026 is going to help me get what I've planned. So here's a message. I'm going to look back on this video in 12 months' time, but 2026, I'm coming for you. And if you watched the end of the video, thank you very much, and I'll see you on the next one.